Yeah, fun side note, for about 4 years in the Dayton International Airport, this poster or this advertisement was in, I think, Terminal B. And yeah, and I don't really have pictures of it here, but that was because I got featured at, what was it, UPenn in Philadelphia for a hackathon. And then, that them being an Ivy League school and me being featured, that was kind of a big achievement for the EE department, not only for myself but the EE department. So they went out of their way to do basically like a video interview with me, an article, and then now I'm like in their advertising for like the program and stuff. So anyways, some legal disclaimers. Yeah, there is no proprietary and confidential information here. I mean, there's some figures in here that are from a patent and stuff, so just making that clear, because I got to work on a lot of fun stuff in my career so far. A lot of it I can't talk about, which is the best, right? So my path, my initial inspiration to pursue electrical engineering actually was the movie Iron Man in 2008. Besides that, my dad growing up, he was a computer programmer, so there was always that technical aspect in the family that was always something that like I could do, I guess, just the idea. But it was really the movie Iron Man that he took me to in 2008 that really just kind of planted that seed in my head that, oh, maybe engineering is a cool career field I should go into. And after like lots of research in high school and stuff, after many Wikipedia pages and all-nighters, right, eventually settled on going to Radio Shack and picking up an electronics learning lab kit, which is like the one with like the breadboard and a bunch of springs, solderless, right? And books written by Forrest M. Mims, great author. And basically I credit that for starting my like current career, right, in my interest. And following year as a junior in high school, I started what would become Hung's Electronics LLC, which is my consulting business and also just my like internal like personal R&D kind of projects. And so I went to, after high school, went to Wright State University. During that time, did many internships. Actually, forgot to mention, yeah, in high school I did an internship at Ohio State University doing some control systems related research, which I found out that I really did not like control systems, so that was kind of good and kind of let's say, focusing my interests onto what would eventually be RF tech and hacking. But yeah, so I did like internships at the Air Force Research Lab, Sierra Nevada Corporation, and then D'Angelo Technologies. And now I've done full-time employment at places like Cedar Creek Software, Resonance Sciences, and my current employer, Cromulence. And just some big acknowledgements here and kind of the history of how I got my license. So KD8TUO, who is Ben Bowser, was my initial like inspiration to get my license. He was the guy in my robotics club in high school that kept telling me, ham radio is cool, you should do it. Like, there's all these cool projects you can do, and so finally, I was like, okay, let me Google this, and I was like, oh, he's right. You can. There's all sorts of cool breadboarding projects and stuff. So that's at least where I initially got the idea to go into it. And then by chance, from my freshman year at Wright State, attending a talk from the physicist Michio Kaku. Behind me, actually, was sitting at the Nutter Center, which is west of here. Well, sitting behind me was Mike Coulter and Frank Buofor. And I had overheard their conversation talking about, ham radio, like looking up people on QRZ. And at that moment, I just had to like turn back and say, hey, I'm at ham. And eventually got in touch with them, and that's how I eventually joined the radio club and volunteered at Hamvention for a number of years. And then that eventually led into me religiously attending the Thursday night group, which is the homebrew club at DARA. And I have many Elmers there from like Greg, Keith, and then Tom, And then, oh man, and then Jack Gerbs, and then George are like some of my bigger inspirations from that. And then in my time at Wright State, one of my instructors was a Ham Hurst Chiselber. That's his call sign. He taught my linear systems and EMAT class, and always pointed to like practical Ham and radio things that he's done in his career. So it was really nice having that perspective. And then as far as just like why I'm kind of like on the path I am right now, one of my biggest mentors, John Callis, taught me mixed signal PCB design, signal integrity, and that was at Sierra Nevada Corporation. And then, and basically kind of my goal in life is this last call sign that's listed here, my biggest role model of them, Michael Hirsch, who in my last job was this, I almost want to say the RF dark magician. Just he creates cool RF solutions, and that was, and you know, being paid the big bucks to come up with those solutions. So that's kind of like my goal in my career now, is to become that. So anyways, some main takeaways that I kind of wanted to share with people, right, is again, the ham radio has become like the foundation of my practical RF knowledge and experience. It's exposed me to all the new and emerging RF technologies like software-defined radio, and networking with professionals and subject matter experts. All right, have to mention people like K1JT in here, and then Michael Osmond and Jerry Ellsworth, are people who have actually, I've all met them here at Hamvention, so I think that's why I put in here. So as far as like highlights of my career, so my last job is when I got to really play around with like really cool hardware, like RF hardware. And that actually started out as originally me consulting for them, and they had this deadline of like, or this timeline of like 6 weeks to get this product out the door to test. They were already 2 weeks in, and like my mentor, John Callis, so it was one of the other call signs that was listed. He knew that I could at least quickly get that stuff up and running because I had done that at Sierra Nevada. So he brought me in, did that over a weekend with a couple beers and stuff. And eventually after we finished that, they flew the system in Alaska, successfully demonstrated it, and ended up winning a $100 million DoD contract. And to this day, I still, I had a standing offer then, and I still have one to come back because of that work. And so basically that whole system is, it's an RF canceller. You know, the patent's very specific on how that works, right? But the key points is the patent is actually pretty modest on how it performs. Like, they say 30 dB, but I've seen it go down to the noise floor as far as cancellation. It's I still like think about like looking at the spectrum analyzer and the results, and it's absolutely dark magic to me. But when I ended up working there, some cool things I got to do actually was then combine pretty high-end software-defined radios like EDIS radios, and then like the Xilinx RF SoC, which is like an FPGA plus RF front end, and we got to demonstrate true like simultaneous transmit and receive with that across like standard comms channels, and then also just generally demonstrating like against like so like with a software-defined radio, you could generate like a test source of all sorts of like interference or jamming signals, right? And then you also test out your interference canceller doing that. And so, we saw some really cool numbers and did a lot of things. Can't talk about anything else better than that. But what I'm doing today, so I ended up moving to Melbourne, Florida during COVID. I'm a senior reverse engineer, so I'm back to doing hardware hacking, as I would say. So mostly they're doing hacking satellites. So we run this competition with the Air Force and Space Force called Hackasat. And I primarily do hardware reverse engineering, as I said there. And I still do Hong's Electronics, doing consulting on the side for people on my network, just asking for questions or just quick solutions. And I still do my own R&D. So as far as like, again, goals, objectives, right, where I'm going, ham radio, very important to all of this, right, because, it's what introduced me to software-defined radio, got me interested eventually into like radar and electronic warfare, and then just kind of on my own, with all most of the experience I've had over the years, I also have some specialties in embedded and FPGA design, hardware trust and security and hardware reverse engineering. So that's kind of what I hope to do more of in the future. So.